When the first strange lights appeared in the sky, most people thought it was some kind of global event or a new satellite launch. Some thought it was a meteor shower, others believed it was a scientific experiment. But within minutes, the world realized that what they were witnessing was not from Earth. The lights grew brighter, forming a massive shape in the sky, stretching wider than any aircraft humanity had ever created. People ran outside, gathering in streets, rooftops, and open fields, staring upward in silence as the glowing shape slowly took form. It was a fleet, huge, organized, precise, moving in perfect alignment, as if it had rehearsed this moment for centuries. It hovered above like a metal continent in the sky, covering entire cities in its shadow. All around the world, news channels broke into panic broadcasts. Alarms rang in military bases. Governments connected through emergency links. Scientists tried to calculate the fleet's size, but every camera angle showed something different because the ships were simply too large to comprehend. Even the calmest leaders struggled to hide their fear. For the first time in history, every nation was looking at the same sky, the same threat, the same unknown. Then came the signal. A low hum vibrated through the air, like the sky itself was speaking. Every screen, every device, every satellite picked up the transmission at the same time. A glowing symbol appeared, a circle with shards of light spinning around it. People froze, holding their breath as a strange voice echoed across the world. It wasn't human. It wasn't robotic either. It was something in between, something smoother, colder, too perfect to belong to a living creature. The voice said it had arrived as part of the Galactic Protection Authority, a group that traveled across different worlds to control dangerous young species. And according to their analysis, humans were one of those species. They said their goal was to protect the galaxy by keeping Earth under strict supervision. Those who heard the message expected fear, expected screaming, expected chaos, but something else happened. While governments panicked, while presidents and prime ministers shouted orders, the ordinary people of Earth reacted very differently. On social media, the first reaction wasn't fear, it was laughter. Memes exploded instantly. People joked that aliens had arrived just in time to witness the mess humanity had created. Teenagers made videos imitating the alien voice. Some people welcomed them sarcastically, saying, "Great, another authority trying to control us." But beneath the humor there was something deeper, a strange sense of confidence. Humans had faced centuries of wars, disasters, and impossible challenges. They had survived everything from plagues to world wars, from collapsing civilizations to rebuilding them. Compared to all that, a giant alien ship telling them what to do didn't seem enough to break them. Inside the main control rooms on Earth, things were not as calm. Military commanders demanded details. Scientists scrambled to analyze the signal. Communication experts worked non-stop to decode any hidden messages. But even with all that panic, something surprising happened. The more humans learned about the alien signal, the more confident they became. The signal was advanced, yes, but it wasn't perfect. There were tiny gaps in its frequency, small distortions that human experts quickly identified. If these beings were so superior, why were there flaws in their broadcast? Meanwhile, on the alien ship, the crew watched Earth with a cold, distant curiosity. They expected humans to be terrified, obedient, and silent. They expected Earth's leaders to kneel metaphorically and ask for mercy. But what they saw confused them. Humans were filming the event on their phones, arguing online, joking, sharing theories, and behaving nothing like a fearful species. They seemed excited, or amused, or simply stubborn. The aliens had encountered hundreds of species before, and almost all of them reacted the same way. Fear, surrender, cooperation. Humans were different. The alien commander, a tall being with translucent eyes, studied the reactions carefully. They called Earth unpredictable. They classified humans as primitive emotional organisms who needed to be controlled before they caused widespread harm. They believed that humanity's rapid development in technology made them unstable. They believed Earth was a ticking bomb, so they decided to act. The alien fleet activated dozens of smaller ships and released metallic spheres probes toward the planet. These probes glowed like small suns as they scattered across the atmosphere, scanning everything: cities, oceans, mountains, communication lines, even energy grids. They observed human behavior, human emotions, human weaknesses, but once again, humans responded in a way the aliens did not expect. People on Earth didn't run from the probes. Children pointed at them like balloons. Scientists followed them enthusiastically. Engineers recorded them, trying to understand their design. Some daring individuals even tried touching them until drones pushed them away. Instead of panic, humanity showed curiosity. And curiosity was something the alien race feared more than anything, because curiosity meant intelligence, dangerous intelligence. Government leaders demanded a meeting. Military advisors suggested shutting down key energy centers to avoid being targeted. Yet the public, who watched the events unfold without fear, made fun of the idea that Earth needed protection. People posted comments like, "Protect Earth from what? Ourselves." Others joked, "We've survived each other. Aliens are nothing." But there was something else behind this competence, something silent but powerful. For years, many nations had prepared for unknown threats. Hidden defense systems, secret scientific projects, and advanced experimental technologies existed deep underground, unknown to the general public. These weren't built for war against other countries. They were built for something different, something beyond Earth, something exactly like this. As the alien message continued, warning Earth about its dangerous behavior, scientists began to notice contradictions. The aliens called humans primitive, yet they used a language structure that humans deciphered within minutes. The aliens claimed unmatched technological superiority, yet their probes operated on predictable patterns that human computers quickly recognized. Humans realized something surprising. These aliens might be advanced, but they weren't flawless. They weren't unstoppable. They weren't as superior as they claimed, and that realization changed everything. All over the world, ordinary people began to feel a spark of bravery. If these aliens truly understood Earth, they would have known better than to threaten it. Humanity wasn't just emotional. They were adaptable. Not just reckless, they were clever. They had a history of turning every challenge into an opportunity. And now, faced with the biggest challenge in their entire existence, humans didn't fall apart, they banded together. Families gathered in living rooms, watching the sky with a strange mixture of awe and confidence. Scientists stayed awake all night, running tests and building theories. Engineers worked silently behind locked doors, preparing countermeasures and studying alien designs. Even children sensed that something big was happening, something that would shape the future of the entire world. In one small control center, hidden beneath a mountain range, a group of elite scientists and military strategists stood around a holographic map of the alien fleet. The room buzzed with soft hums of machines and whispered discussions. A young engineer pointed at a specific pattern in the alien ship's movement. "They're not expecting resistance," he said quietly. "They think we're weak." Another scientist, an older woman with sharp eyes, nodded slowly. "Good," she replied. "Let them underestimate us." That sentence echoed the mood of the entire planet. While the aliens observed Earth with cold calculation, humans observed them back with warm confidence. It wasn't arrogance, it was experience, it was history. Humanity had learned to survive the harshest conditions, rebuild after the worst tragedies, innovate under pressure, and rise again and again no matter how many times they were pushed down. Compared to that, a powerful alien fleet was just another challenge. When dawn came, the alien ships still hovered in the sky, casting long shadows over cities and oceans. Billions of humans woke up to the same sight, but with a different feeling. Last night had been fear and confusion. This morning was something else, a collective spark, a silent understanding. The aliens believed they had arrived to protect the galaxy from Earth, but humans were already thinking something entirely different. They were thinking, who is going to protect the galaxy from us? And for the first time since the alien arrival, humanity smiled, not out of arrogance, but because they finally understood something the aliens did not. Humans were not the kind of species you could threaten. They were the kind that stood up, fought back, learned fast, and adapted even faster, and the aliens had no idea what they had just started. Asterisk, the morning after the alien arrival felt different across the entire world. People woke up early, not because of alarms, but because their minds refused to rest. The alien ships still hung in the sky like giant metallic giants, watching every movement on Earth, no matter where someone lived, whether in a crowded city or a quiet village. The sight of those silent ships made the air feel heavier, charged, expectant. Everyone wondered the same thing. What would the aliens do now? It didn't take long to find out. Soon after sunrise, thousands of small alien probes began moving across the sky. They spread out in clean lines, glowing with soft white and blue lights. They moved over oceans, deserts, forests, and cities, scanning everything they could. A strange humming followed them, like a soft vibration that made people look up even if they couldn't see the machines. The aliens were studying Earth in ways humans could barely imagine. Satellite footage showed that each probe released tiny particles into the air that collected data about temperature, pollution levels, energy signals, and even communication lines. It was clear that the aliens wanted to know every detail about Earth, how humans lived, how they moved, how they communicated, and what they feared in major cities. People watched the probes glide above their heads like glowing birds. Some children thought they were toys. Adults watched with a mix of anger and amusement. A few brave souls even waved at them, pretending to welcome them to Earth. But behind the humor, there was growing irritation. Humans did not like being judged or controlled, especially not by strangers who arrived uninvited. Meanwhile, inside the alien flagship, the crew analyzed the information coming in from the probes. Their expressions remained calm, but their words carried a coldness that revealed how little they understood humans. They labeled human creativity as unorganized behavior. They described human emotions as dangerous instability, and they believed that Earth's rapid technological progress was a threat to the entire galaxy. To them, humans needed guidance. To humans, the aliens sounded arrogant and clueless. Soon, the aliens transmitted a second global message. This time they did not bother with polite introductions. A large holographic projection appeared in the sky over major cities. A tall, silver alien figure with sharp glowing eyes. The figure raised its hand as if expecting silence. But Earth was already silent. Watching, the alien announced that Earth must immediately stop all nuclear programs. They said humanity was not responsible enough to handle such power. They demanded that countries shut down their space exploration projects, claiming humans did not deserve to expand into the galaxy, and they insisted that Earth would soon be placed under what they called a galactic regulation code, which meant the aliens would control Earth's advanced technologies. For a few seconds, the world remained quiet. Then humans reacted, not with fear but with disbelief. People burst into laughter online. Videos emerged of people mocking the aliens' tone. Bloggers wrote sarcastic articles about Earth now having intergalactic babysitters. Even scientists shook their heads, almost offended that aliens believed humans were so irresponsible. But underneath the jokes, a serious discussion began. Humans did not like being told to stop progressing. They had spent centuries struggling, inventing, building, and dreaming. They were not going to let anyone alien or not take that away. In research centers around the globe, scientists gathered in tight groups, staring at screens showing alien probe data. They quickly realized something the aliens probably didn't want them to know. The probe's scanning patterns repeated every few minutes. The frequencies they used were advanced but predictable. Human computers started tracking them, creating models that could predict their movements. In secret labs, engineers studied the energy signals emitted by the probes. Some noticed weaknesses, some saw opportunities. None of them felt intimidated. Instead, they felt challenged. Humans had faced the unknown many times before: new diseases, new lands, new enemies, new technologies. Every time, they learned, adapted, and sometimes even surpassed the challenge. And this time would be no different. In the military bases of powerful nations, generals analyzed the alien communication signal. They found something interesting. The encryption used by the aliens was complex, but not impossible to crack. A few hours later, several intelligence groups could already read parts of the alien data stream. They were not fully inside the alien system, but they were close enough to understand how it worked. Humanity once again surprised itself. Meanwhile, ordinary people on Earth behaved in ways that left the aliens completely confused. Instead of hiding, humans gathered in open spaces, staring up at the alien ships with fascination. Some set up telescopes. Some prepared picnics on rooftops for alien watching. Few artists even began painting the ships, turning fear into creativity. From the alien perspective, this behavior was bizarre. Every other species they had controlled had responded with surrender or panic. Humans responded with humor and curiosity, which the aliens interpreted as dangerous unpredictability. They believed humans were too confident for their own good, too emotional to be safe, too fast at adapting. And they were right, but not in the way they thought. As the day continued, the aliens attempted something more aggressive. They sent a coded command to Earth's satellite network, trying to shut down human communication systems. They expected the world to fall into chaos. They expected humans to panic, but something unexpected happened. Within seconds, a global team of engineers and analysts blocked the attack. A hidden human defense system, a network of protected satellites and underground communication hubs, activated automatically. It rerouted the signals, filtered out the alien codes, and restored all communication systems. Before most people even noticed something had happened, the alien commander watched the failure in shock. Their plan, which had worked on dozens of other planets, had failed on Earth in under 5 seconds. They reviewed the data again and again, trying to understand what went wrong. How could a primitive species break their code so fast? How could humans block an attack that should have shut down an entire planet? But the true problem was something else, something the aliens didn't realize. Humans weren't reacting based on fear or panic. They were reacting based on knowledge, curiosity, determination, and a long history of surviving the possible inside secret command rooms. Human experts studied the alien technology captured through probe signals. They noticed that alien systems relied heavily on centralized control. If they could disrupt that central command, the entire fleet could be confused or weakened. It wasn't a plan yet, but it was an opening. Meanwhile, in classrooms and living rooms, ordinary people debated what should be done. Mothers comforted children. Teachers tried to explain the situation calmly. Neighbors gathered in small groups, discussing possibilities. Some believed the aliens were truly trying to protect the galaxy. Others believed the aliens simply wanted control. But everyone agreed on one thing: humanity would not surrender their freedom. Throughout the day, more alien messages were broadcast. They grew stricter, colder, more demanding. The aliens told Earth to shut down large cities for energy reduction. They said humans must surrender their long-range weapons. They insisted that humanity accept guidance for its own survival. People laughed even more. One old man in Brazil said on a live stream, "We can't handle our governments telling us what to do. You think aliens will succeed?" That clip went viral around the world. In a famous university, A group of students studied the alien communication algorithms. Within hours, they developed a model predicting how the aliens would choose their next targets. They sent it to global defense teams, who used it to prepare countermeasures. Humans were learning at terrifying speeds so fast that it shocked even themselves. Meanwhile, the aliens grew frustrated. Their probes returned data that confused them. Humans were chaotic but smart, emotional but strategic, disorganized but powerful. Every model they created to understand humanity broke within minutes. The alien leader finally spoke to their council in frustration. "This species does not behave logically," they said. "They do not fear us. They do not surrender. They do not follow patterns. They are dangerous." But humanity wasn't done surprising them. As the sun set, a small team in a hidden Earth facility discovered a major flaw in the alien probe system, one they could exploit later. They exchanged nervous but excited glances. "We can fight them," one whispered. "We can outthink them," another said. And while the aliens watched the world with cold precision, humans, ordinary, emotional, unpredictable humans, were already preparing to turn the game around. The aliens believed they were studying humanity, but humanity had already begun studying them back. For almost 24 hours, the alien fleet had hovered above Earth like silent metal giants. Their probes had scanned every corner of the planet. Their messages had demanded obedience, and their attempts to shut down human systems had failed again and again. The aliens, confident in their superiority, believed they only needed a little more pressure before humanity finally broke. But what they didn't know was that humans were not cracking. They were preparing. In a hidden command center buried deep beneath the mountains, a group of the world's brightest minds stood around a glowing hologram showing the alien probe's network. Their screens flashed with data, numbers changing so fast that the untrained eye couldn't even follow. But these experts weren't untrained. They had spent their lives studying patterns, codes, and technologies. And now, they had finally found something important, something big enough to shift the balance of power. A young scientist named Lena leaned over a console, her hands shaking from excitement rather than fear. She pointed to a repeating signal in the probe's communication patterns. "This is their control frequency," she said breathlessly. "If we interrupt this, even for a moment, the probes will drop." The room fell silent. A military officer stepped forward, staring at the screen. "Drop as in fall out of the sky?" "No," Lena said, shaking her head. "They'll just stop, freeze like paused machines." That single sentence changed the atmosphere of the room. Until that moment, humanity had been reacting to the aliens' blocking attacks, studying probes, observing ships. But now, for the first time since the invasion began, humans had discovered a weakness. A small one, yes, but a weakness nonetheless. "Can we hit that frequency?" another expert asked. "Yes," Lena replied, "but only once. The moment we interrupt it, the aliens will know we understand their system. They'll change everything immediately. So it has to count," the officer murmured. It was the first step toward the turning point that would shake the aliens' confidence. While the experts prepared their plan, life on Earth took on an eerie normality. People still went outside, still filmed the ships, still posted jokes and theories online. But beneath that surface, something powerful was happening. Humans around the world sensed that something was coming, a shift, a moment when things would no longer be the same. The aliens continued to send warnings. New holographic messages appeared above major cities, demanding Earth surrender its weapon systems. The aliens claimed Earth was a danger zone and insisted that humans should be thankful for the protection they were offering. But humans were done listening. In the hidden command center, teams worked through the night. They created a device, a pulse generator that could send a concentrated burst across the alien frequency. It was small, almost disappointingly so, no bigger than a suitcase, but its power didn't lie in its size. It lay in its precision. By dawn, the device was ready. The plan was simple but dangerous. They would wait until the alien probes synchronized for their hourly energy renewal cycle. During that brief moment, all probes connected to the same frequency. If the pulse was strong enough, timed perfectly, and aimed exactly right, it would interrupt the signal and show the aliens that Earth was not helpless. But one mistake could make things much worse. At sunrise, world leaders connected through secure channels. The message was clear. Earth would make its first move. One of the hidden facility's top strategists gave a quiet order. Technicians placed the pulse device on the launch pad. A deep hum filled the air as the machine charged. The room grew tense. People held their breath. The probes in the sky glowed faintly as they aligned for their cycle. "Timing is everything," Lena whispered. The countdown began. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The pulse fired. For a fraction of a second, the sky seemed to flicker. A strange wave rippled upward like an invisible curtain was being lifted. For the first time since the alien arrival, something changed in the sky. All around the world, the tiny glowing probes stopped moving. Their lights dimmed. Their scanning beams faded. They froze in mid-air. Silence spread across cities. People looked up, confused. Children pointed. Adults stared. Scientists gasped. The aliens, watching from their flagship, scrambled to understand what had happened. In a massive control chamber aboard the alien ship, alarms rang. Screens flickered with red symbols. The commander stood tall, his silver skin shimmering in agitation. "Analyze this," he ordered, his voice sharp. What did the humans do? His officers worked quickly, but their results only made the situation worse. "Commander," one alien said with disbelief, "that humans found our control frequency." Another added, "They predicted our cycle," a third said. "They broke into our network for exactly 0.3 seconds. The commander's eyes widened. "Impossible. Humans cannot learn our systems this fast." But they had. As the aliens panicked, humans celebrated not loudly, but in their hearts. People pointed at the silent probes and took videos. News channels reported that something had happened, though they lacked the details. Social media exploded with theories. Humanity felt something they had been waiting for, hope. But the turning point wasn't the pulse. It was what happened next. The aliens, furious and humiliated, attempted to regain control. They sent new commands to the probes, but the interruption had scrambled some systems. Several probes malfunctioned. Some fell from the sky like broken stars, landing in oceans and deserts. A few cracked open, their alien technology exposed, and humans wasted no time. Special recovery teams in both military and scientific units rushed to the fallen probes. They collected pieces, analyzed circuits, studied materials that didn't exist anywhere on Earth. Every discovery gave humanity more understanding and more confidence. Meanwhile, inside their ship, the aliens argued. They could not believe a species as young as humans could break into their systems in a single day. Their failure wasn't simply technical, it was psychological. They had expected obedience, fear, and surrender. Instead, they got curiosity, laughter, and resilience. The commander clenched his jaw. "If humans can disable our probes," he said, "they may soon learn to interfere with our fleet." His advisors exchanged nervous glances. The possibility terrified them. On Earth, leaders didn't waste the opportunity. With the alien probes paused, hidden defense satellites activated, they began mapping the alien fleet in high detail, something impossible before due to interference. Every weak point, every energy node, every structural flaw was identified. Humans now had knowledge they never expected to gain. In a small lab, Lena and her team stared at the recovered probe pieces. They were shocked by what they learned. Alien technology was advanced, yes, but not magical. It followed rules humans could understand, rules humans could eventually break. "This changes everything," she whispered. It did. By noon, the aliens finally restarted their systems. The probes blinked back to life. But something was different now. Their patterns were irregular. Their lights were unstable. Their movements lacked the smooth confidence they had earlier. They were no longer silent watchers. They were wounded machines. Humanity had done what no other species had ever done. They pushed back. The alien commander watched Earth with a deep sense of unease. A species that could break their systems so quickly was dangerous, not because of their weapons, but because of their minds. Humans learned fast. Too fast. The commander whispered words that chilled everyone in the control chamber. "We may have underestimated this species." Back on Earth, the truth was simple. The turning point had arrived. The aliens had thought they were studying humans, but humans had just proved they were studying the aliens even faster, and for the first time, fear shifted from Earth to the stars. Night fell across Earth, but the planet did not sleep. Every home, every lab, every secret base felt alive with a strange electricity. People kept checking the sky as if waiting for the stars to move again. The alien ships still hovered above like a silent ceiling blocking the universe. Their silver hulls glowed faintly under the moonlight, but something had changed. For the first time, they looked less like unstoppable titans and more like uncertain giants. Inside the alien flagship, confusion spread like wildfire. Their probes had been disabled, their systems interfered with, and now their carefully planned strategy was falling apart. The commander, a tall figure with shimmering skin and cold, expressionless eyes, stood in front of a massive display screen showing Earth's global response. He expected panic. Instead, he saw humans growing more confident by the hour. A wave of crackling alien voices echoed around the control chamber. "Their intelligence is rising too quickly," one officer said. "We believed this species needed protection, but perhaps we need protection from them." The commander slammed his fist onto a metallic console, sending vibrations across the room. "Silence. Humans are reckless and emotional. Their progress is unpredictable. They must be contained before they become a danger to the galaxy." But even as he spoke, doubt flickered in his eyes. The humans were adapting faster than any species the aliens had encountered in thousands of years. Their quick learning was supposed to be impossible. Yet here they were, breaking systems, collecting probes, mapping alien weaknesses. Back on Earth, the mood in secret labs turned from fear to determination. Lena and her team spent the night studying the recovered alien probe parts. They examined the strange metal alloy that didn't rust, the circuits that healed themselves, and the tiny energy cells that glowed like trapped stars. As she worked, Lena whispered to herself, as if the universe was listening, "They thought they were protecting the galaxy from us. Maybe the galaxy needs protection from them. But her real discovery came when she noticed a faint vibration inside one of the broken probe cores. It pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. After hours of decoding, she realized it wasn't just a power source, it was a communication node linked directly to the alien flagship. Asterisk, if they could tap into it, even slightly, they could learn the aliens' internal communication structure. But the risk was enormous. If the aliens detected the attempt, they could strike Earth harder than ever. Lena gathered her team. This could give us everything, she said softly. Their strategies, their weaknesses, their fears. And if it fails? One scientist asked nervously. Then we face the consequences, she replied. But if we do nothing, the consequences will be worse. Meanwhile, the aliens prepared to take full control of Earth. The commander ordered all ships to activate containment fields. Giant beams of light shot downward, forming massive glowing nets around the skies of major continents. They weren't attacking it, but they were trying to trap Earth like a wild animal inside a cage made of light. Billions of people watched the sky turn gold and silver as the alien beams created a giant shimmering dome. The air vibrated. Birds panicked. Animals sensed danger. Governments scrambled to understand the energy patterns. But the technology was nothing like anything on Earth. For a moment, humanity felt a chill. This was no longer observation. This was captured on living rooms around the world. Children clung to their parents. Streets filled with people staring upward in silence. Soldiers stood ready but unsure. Even comedians stopped joking. The alien fleet was tightening its grip. Then something happened that no one expected. The containment dome flickered once, twice, then a giant portion of it collapsed like a broken curtain. People gasped. Scientists in secret labs jumped from their chairs. The aliens themselves froze in confusion. Their perfect technology, built over thousands of years, should never flicker. It should never fail. But it failed because of one thing. Earth was fighting back. Lena's team had activated the captured probe core at the exact moment the aliens began their containment field. The alien network assumed the core was still part of their system. When it transmitted corrupted data, the entire field stumbled. Not enough to break completely, but enough to expose a critical flaw. Humans around the world noticed it. Immediately, the alien technology wasn't invincible. The commander stared at the flickering dome in disbelief. Impossible, he whispered. The humans cannot be interfering with this level of technology. Yet the evidence was right in front of him. He ordered his engineers to isolate the problem. They scanned Earth for unusual energy signatures. They tracked signals, checked frequencies, and monitored movement. But humans had hidden their weapon, one small probe core deep underground, in a facility with enough shielding to make detection almost impossible. Finally, the commander lost patience. Begin Phase 2, he ordered. The alien fleet changed formation. Smaller attack ships separated from the main vessel and descended toward Earth's atmosphere. Their engines roared like thunder. Their lights turned red. The silent observation had ended. This was aggression. Billions of humans watched as the alien attack ships approached. Fear spread like smoke. The world went silent. But then, before the attack ships could unleash their energy beams, something extraordinary happened on Earth. Hidden defense systems activated. Not nuclear missiles, not lasers, not conventional weapons. These were experimental technologies that Earth had kept secret for years, systems built for the unknown, for threats from beyond the planet. Electromagnetic disruptors, energy reflectors, quantum interference arrays. Many nations had developed them quietly, unsure if they would ever be used. Now they were the difference between survival and destruction. As the alien attack ships prepared to fire, Earth's defense systems sent out a massive electromagnetic pulse. It wasn't aimed to destroy but to distort. The alien ships' beams fired, but the energy twisted mid-air. Instead of striking their targets, the beams bent away, shooting into the sky like lightning drawn to an invisible magnet. Humans cheered. The aliens panicked. Commander and alien officer shouted. Their planet is responding with unknown technology. Another added, our weapon beams are being redirected. The commander's expression darkened. How is this possible? Their development should not be this advanced. Back on Earth, scientists and military strategists watched the redirected beams with relief. But they also knew the truth. Their systems were not perfect. They couldn't protect the whole planet forever. This was only the first clash. It wouldn't be the last. In the heart of the alien ship, anger turned into fear. The commander understood that Earth was not just resisting, they were learning, adapting, and evolving faster than any species he had ever seen. If the humans survived long enough, they could become a threat not just to the fleet, but to the entire galaxy. He decided they needed to break humanity's spirit, not through destruction but through demonstration. He commanded the flagship to release their stabilization pulse, a massive shockwave that could disable every electronic device on Earth, sending the planet back to the Stone Age. The fleet powered up, the sky glowed ominously. But this time Earth did not wait. Lena's team had been preparing for exactly this moment. They activated the alien probe core fully. It released a wave of data back into the alien network, contradicting and corrupting the activation sequence. In the alien-controlled chamber, alarms screamed. The stabilization pulse destabilized before it fired. The energy built up rapidly with nowhere to go. Release the charge. The commander yelled, "We can't." The engineers responded. The massive ship trembled. The energy exploded but inward. A bright flash burst across the flagship's hull. Not enough to destroy it, but enough to shake it violently and shut down many systems. The aliens stared in shock. Humans, who the aliens thought they were protecting, had just turned the galaxy's most feared technology against its creators. On Earth, people saw the flash and erupted in cheers. They didn't fully understand what had happened, but they knew one thing. Humanity wasn't losing. Humanity was fighting back. And even the aliens were beginning to realize something terrifying. They had threatened the wrong species. Asterisk when the alien fleet finally turned away from Earth. The sky looked calm again, but everyone knew something had changed forever. The quiet peace that followed was not the same old peace the world had before the aliens arrived. This one felt different, deeper, and full of new questions. People everywhere kept talking about the moment when the alien commander looked at the humans with confusion and fear. Not because humans had attacked them, but because humans had shown something the aliens never expected: confidence, intelligence, and a strange kind of strength that didn't come from weapons alone. On Earth, people came out into the streets again. Children pointed at the sky, wondering where the alien ships had gone. Older people sat on their rooftops and thought about how they had lived long enough to witness something no human generation before them had ever imagined. News reporters kept replaying the moment the human representative told the alien commander, "You have no idea who you're threatening." That line became famous in every language, repeated again and again, like a badge of pride for all humanity. But behind the celebrations, there was something else happening too. Scientists, engineers, and leaders from every country quietly returned to their workstations and labs. They were all thinking the same thought. If aliens could find Earth once, someone else could find it again. Some species might not come pretending to protect Earth. Some might come with real danger. So Earth needed to be ready, not afraid, just ready. In the quiet halls of a global scientific center, a group of researchers sat around a huge table. There were tired eyes, messy hair, and empty coffee cups everywhere. The last few days had been long and stressful, but now that the aliens had left, the mood in the room was brighter. One scientist leaned back and said, "They really thought we were a primitive species. Imagine that." Another laughed and replied, "If they saw how fast our kids learn, they'd faint right there." Asterisk, they talked about how easily the alien probes were shut down, how quickly humans understood the alien systems, and how fast the defense teams worked together. It was not luck or accident. It was the human way: creative, risky, unpredictable, and brilliant at the same time. And now the whole galaxy had seen it. Across the world, governments held secret meetings. They didn't want to panic the public, but they also didn't want to sit back and pretend everything was normal. Many leaders realized something important. Humanity had always thought of itself as small compared to the universe. But now, after the alien encounter, they understood something bigger. They were not just a small blue planet in a huge dark space. They were a species strong enough to make advanced aliens step back. The human delegation that went aboard the alien ship became overnight heroes. Reporters kept trying to interview them, but most of them avoided public attention. They were busy writing reports, analyzing samples, and explaining everything they observed on the ship. One member of the team, a young engineer, said quietly to a group of scientists, "Their technology wasn't actually perfect. It was advanced, but not impossible. We can do better." And the room agreed. Humanity had spent centuries pushing limits, dreaming, imagining, building. Now they had a reason to move even faster. Meanwhile, in schools around the world, students couldn't stop talking about the aliens. They asked teachers questions they never thought to ask before. "Do you think they'll come back? Are there other alien species? Can we explore space too?" Teachers tried their best to answer, but they didn't know either. What they did know was that curiosity had exploded in young minds everywhere. Children who once dreamed of becoming doctors or pilots now wanted to become astronomers, engineers, scientists, or space explorers. In small towns and big cities, ordinary people gathered around tables, discussing the same thing the experts did. They didn't use technical language, but their ideas were full of imagination and hope. For the first time, humanity felt united in something positive. It was not a war or a disaster that united them, it was the knowledge that they were capable of more than they ever believed, far away from public eyes. A new project started forming. It wasn't a military project or a secret weapon. It was something bigger, built on the idea that Earth should not hide from the universe. It should learn, grow, and explore. Every nation contributed their best minds to it. Nobody wanted power or control. They all wanted one thing: to make sure that Earth's next encounter with the galaxy would not be one of fear, but one of strength and understanding. The project focus was simple: learn everything from the alien encounter and use it to prepare for the future. Scientists studied the alien ship scans. Engineers tested new materials inspired by the alien technology. Communication experts tried to decode more of the alien language. Even artists and writers joined in, imagining future possibilities. Humanity, for the first time, felt like one species working toward the same dream at the same time, far from Earth, in the cold vastness of space. The alien fleet was returning to their homeworld. The commander sat silently, replaying the scene in his mind, humans confidently walking through his ship, touching control panels, asking questions, fixing problems the engineers had struggled with for years. He had never felt so unsure. His training had told him that young species were dangerous because they lacked discipline. But humans were dangerous for a different reason. They learned too fast. When the fleet reported to their leaders, the room grew heavy with a silence that carried fear. If humans could take apart their technology so easily, what would they do with more time, more knowledge, more freedom to grow? The alien council decided something quietly. Earth was not to be controlled, watched, or threatened again. It was to be avoided, respected, and left alone. One alien elder said it clearly. This species is not a child that needs protection. They are something else, something the galaxy is not ready for. Back on Earth, life slowly returned to normal. People went back to work, children returned to school, and businesses reopened. But every person carried a new sense of pride. When they looked at themselves in the mirror, they didn't just see an ordinary human being. They saw a member of a species that made an entire alien fleet retreat without firing a single shot. The human representative, the one who said the famous line, returned home quietly, avoiding the spotlight. They visited their family, hugged them tight, and sat down in the familiar comfort of home. But there was something new in their eyes, a knowledge that their words had changed how the universe saw humanity. They didn't regret saying it. They meant every word. As months passed, humanity began improving satellite networks, upgrading space systems, and working on new engines that could one day leave the solar system. People joked about visiting alien planets for vacation one day. Others dreamed of making allies in distant worlds. But deep down, everyone knew the truth. Earth was no longer just a planet. It was a rising power. The biggest change came not from governments or scientists, but from ordinary people. They began to believe in themselves more. Problems that once divided them suddenly felt small. They realized that if the entire planet could stand together against an alien fleet, they could stand together for anything: peace, science, and the future. In the end, the biggest lesson was simple. The galaxy had tried to label humans as dangerous or unpredictable, but humans didn't need to prove otherwise. They didn't need approval or permission to exist. They simply showed who they were: creative, bold, and unstoppable. And the galaxy realized a truth it would never forget. Earth was not a planet that needed protection. Earth was a planet that needed understanding. And one day, it would be a planet that others would look up to. Humanity didn't just survive its first real alien encounter, grew from it. And somewhere far beyond the stars, other civilizations whispered nervously among themselves, wondering what the humans would do next. Whatever it was, one thing was certain: the universe would never see Earth the same way again.